Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. This week's video is going to be a what I eat in a week for dinner. I decided to just show you dinners this week versus all 3 meals. And since I was doing oh, my phone is slipping. There we go. Since I was just doing dinner instead of all 3 meals, I decided to do it a little bit differently. Usually when I do these videos, I kind of just edit certain clips and voice over them. But since I was just doing dinners, I decided I wanted to kind of talk more in live time and show you what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and kind of put all the meals into context. So yeah, that's what I did. But enough of me rambling, to the food. Hello friends, so it is Monday night. I do not normally cook on Monday nights. It is normally Joe's night to cook, but through just really one event, not a series of events, just one event, he's unable to cook tonight and unavailable for dinner. He's fine though, not like an emergency situation, but I'm on my own for dinner and I know what I should be doing. I know what I should be doing. I have a bag of udon noodles that's in my refrigerator that I've had since February, mid-February. I don't know what the shelf life on them is. I don't know when they will go bad. So I should cook them. But I'm having a very weird moment. Sorry if you hear my cat Chizo down here. Just trying to lick my foot, weirdo. I'm having a very weird moment where once in my life I don't want noodles. I don't think this has ever happened to me before. And it shouldn't be surprising that the reason I don't want noodles is because I'm actually just craving junk food. A burger. A burger's not junk food, but what I'm craving the greasiest burger you could think of, that type of burger. And I conveniently have all the items I need for this trash burger I'm craving, so I'm gonna make it for myself because that's the way the cards went. That's not the saying, that's the cards that were dealt to me tonight, and I'm making lemonade out of it, or whatever they say. Okay, I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. Alright, here it is. Oh man. Okay, so the patty, of course. I just have this pea protein, Wuzo brand burger. I don't actually like these. This is the last one I have in this pack. I'll probably never buy these again. This is an expired hamburger bun. It expired in December. I inspected it. I've smelled it. It's all good, I think. I keep my buns refrigerated, so that's not crazy to me that it's still fine. And then, if you watched my last What I Eat in a Day video, I had some leftover Daiya boxed mac and cheese. That's looking a little sad because boxed mac and cheese never looks good the next day. You're supposed to finish it the day of. But I didn't. The day of. Ignore me. Okay. So, these are the main items. Obviously, I think ketchup is going to be involved. I think pickles are going to be involved. I don't have red onion, so I think that's a no. But yeah, let's go. I just got home. It's Tuesday night. Normally I cook Tuesday nights, but Joe and I switched since he couldn't yesterday. And he tried a new recipe. Sometimes I think Joe's more creative in the kitchen than I am. It looks and smells so good. I will show you what it is. So in here, as kind of like the side or the base, it's quinoa, like fried rice, fried quinoa, I guess. I had a taste of it already and it's very tasty. So there's what that is. And then he put in the slow cooker. This is like an Instapot knockoff. Crock-Pot makes a multi-cooker, so it has like all the same functioning as an Instapot. But this is the slow cook function right now. And he made Kung Pao chickpeas. Oh, it's steamy. Okay, hold on. Alright, a little less steam now. So yes, Kung Pao chickpeas. He sent me the recipe he used, but I didn't really read it. But I do know it was supposed to have bell peppers, and we didn't have bell peppers, but we had jalapenos. That's what those green things are. So it's gonna be spicy. Alright, once that's all plated, I'll show you what it looks like plated. But before that, I have some like meal prep. It's not really meal prep, but I have some steps to do for a dinner I'm making in 2 nights. And then I'm also making tomorrow night's dinner tonight, but it's completely hands off, so like I don't even think it counts as cooking, but one thing at a time. Alright, we are in the freezer. Ignore the state of it. So in the freezer I have some medium my cat's also going crazy in the background. I have some medium tofu. If anyone's like trying to call me out on this non-vegan ice cream I have, it's from months and months ago, if you cannot tell by how frostbitten it is. And I think it's expired. Oh no, it's not actually expired, but it's very old. I don't know why we haven't gotten rid of it. But anyway, here is some medium tofu. No, not medium. Firm tofu I put in the freezer. And for those who don't know, if you freeze tofu first, one sec, let me close my freezer. I feel like it's making a noise. If you freeze tofu first, it's gonna get more of a chickeny texture, like meaty texture when you thaw it, and that I've never actually like done that before, but and I've never like thought it really mattered. Like I don't eat tofu for it to taste like chicken, but my coworker sent me this chicken shawarma bowl recipe she made for her lunches this week, and I wanted to do the same exact thing with tofu because it smelled really good. So I figured this would be a good time to do this freezing tofu trick. Alright, so we just had those Kung Pao chickpeas, and now I'm moving on to my second meal prep item. Again, I know that it's technically meal prep, but it's gonna be so simple that I have a hard time calling it that. It's beans, my favorite food. Don't let the label deceive you. It's not for cheese sauce. It's some type of white bean. I'm not quite sure. It's not, I know it's not cannellini, but it's some type of other white bean. So a while ago, I saw Allison Roman did a video called Brothy Beans, and ever since then, my life changed. It's literally just beans cooked on the stove with a bunch of aromatics like garlic and onion, lemon, herbs. I can't even remember what she added to it. It's basically evolved since I've seen her cook it the first time, because now I just cook it with whatever I feel like. So I'm gonna add in some miso paste as well as onion, garlic, lemon. And it's a great way to just kind of use like whatever you have in your fridge that like kind of like needs to like get used. Like you can see this is half an onion, half a lemon, and it's super low maintenance. The hardest part about cooking it is remembering to cook it the night before or however many nights before. I wouldn't recommend doing more than 2 nights before. Beans don't stay great in the fridge for that long. So you could also do it the day of, but I don't have 3 hours before dinner to cook beans, so I always do it the night before. But basically, like, what's gonna happen is take this pot, gonna put all the good smelling stuff in the pot with some olive oil. Then I'm gonna let that get caramelized, and then I'm gonna add some water, some miso paste, salt of course, and then some like herbs probably. I don't have fresh herbs on me right now, so I'm probably just gonna add some dried herbs. And then yeah, let's just let, and then did I say water already? Water, and then just let that sit on the stove for 3 hours over like medium low heat. I'm actually doing it in a bigger pot than I normally would. I'm gonna add more water up front, so I have to watch it less. Normally I'll do it in a smaller pot, check up on it every half hour, add more water to it. But I'm gonna just add a bunch of water up front in this big pot. That way it's super low maintenance. And then gonna store it in this pot overnight. Then tomorrow night when I get home, gonna reheat it on the stove, same pot. I'm gonna take this bread right here, gonna cut it up, gonna fry it up in some olive oil, and then yeah, it's basically just beans on toast. Fancy beans on toast. Probably served with some spinach, maybe balsamic, and it's my ultimate comfort food at this point. It's one of my favorite meals to make. I probably make this every 2 weeks, maybe 3. 3 if it's been a bad time. I want to say like every 2. Alright, so to the food. I did a taste test and the onion really comes through. I think normally when I make these, I put more lemon, so normally more lemon comes through, but I'm really enjoying this like onion flavor that almost reminds me of French onion soup, but you know, beans. I think that's also since I did the poultry seasoning, which is like used in a lot of soups, so I think that's why it has like this like soupy bean vibe, but it's really good. These taste similar but different every time I make it, which I think, so it's comforting and fun all at the same time. But yeah, tomorrow I'll show you how I reheat and serve these. It is Wednesday night. I just got home from work. I have my beans on the stove here. Over here, they're not heating up just yet, but they're there and they're ready. They're primed. And then I also have over here my skillet that I'll be grilling up some bread with soon. But before that, if you remember, I had some tofu that I had frozen and then put in the fridge to thaw last night so it gets like a chickeny texture. I have that tofu pressing right now, and now what I'm doing is I'm going to create my marinade for that tofu, and I'm going to marinate it overnight. You don't need to marinate tofu overnight usually, or even for this recipe if you don't have overnight to marinate it with. Then don't, just do like half hour or so. But I had some strategic thought. I've never made this recipe before. It's not even really technically a tofu recipe, it's for chicken, so I don't know. I'm just trying to give it all the help it can get by marinating overnight. I don't know what that is. The recipe was for 2 pounds of chicken, which a block of tofu is not 2 pounds, so I'm having the recipe, except for the garlic. I never have garlic. Alright, so 1/4 cup of olive oil. Woohoo! I don't get out much. Now is as good as a time as any to do the garlic. If I had any skill, I would be scooping this in with a knife or something and not my fingers. This garlic smells really good, by the way. It's like, I don't know. It made me realize that maybe the garlic I've been buying the last couple months hasn't smelled good, because this one smells very good. Okay. Now, I'll do the lemon. I have a juicer, I'm just not using it. I'll just pick the seeds out. It's just a marinade. Alright. So now we're gonna do a 1/2 tablespoon of ground coriander. There we go. 1/2 tablespoon of cumin. Smells amazing. I'm like on the fence if I like the way cumin smells, to be honest, but when it's mixed in with other stuff, I like it. Alright, so then we're gonna do 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. It smells so good, oh my goodness. And then, since we're having the recipe, I can't really measure the cinnamon and the cayenne, so I'm just gonna do a little sprinkle. And a little sprinkle of cayenne. Oof, my nose is starting to... So this is what it looks like before I stir it all together. I feel like depending on the type of person you are, this either looks horrible or like so delicious. I'm team so delicious. Just using a little measuring spoon to stir since it's already dirty. Yeah, this looks pretty liquidy, so I don't think I'm gonna add any more lemon juice for now. Let me smell it, I guess, and I'll decide. I'm on the fence if I want to add more lemon juice or not. I feel like it doesn't smell very lemony. I'm adding more lemon juice. I like to smell lemon. If I can't smell it, then what's the point? Marinade's all ready and stirred together. Ooh. I have my tofu now. You can see it's already falling apart. That's what happens when you freeze tofu. It gets super delicate. So instead of cutting it, I'm actually just gonna like tear it into shreds. I think I'm gonna do fairly big chunks because I could always cut them later if I don't think they're too big. So see, look, it has all this texture. It's still a little frozen, to be honest, but I think that's fine. But this texture will make it taste more chickeny, in theory. Again, I haven't actually tried that, but I should say feel more chickeny. You can't make it taste more chickeny by just cutting it. And I'm doing this in a container that has a lid. So one, I can store it in the fridge easier, but also so I can shake it all up when it's done. Because yeah, it's not gonna all get coated just by adding it into the container without shaking it up. This is such a mess. I'm starting to realize maybe it should be a little bit more thawed than this, but we'll see. Oh shit! This is gonna be very interesting tomorrow. Give it a bit of a mix to get it going. You don't want to mix it too strongly because it will crumble up even more, and you don't want tofu scramble. You want tofu chunks. Chunks! Alright. It got very crumbly, but oh god, let me get a mess. That's what it looks like for now. We'll see it tomorrow. We'll see how it holds up after it's been soaking all night. It smells divine. Alright. To the beans. Alright friends, the moment has arrived. It is bean time. I have my beans in this pot heating up. I added some extra water just so they got a little bit brothier, and just no chance that they'll stick to the bottom of the pan now. Once they're at a simmer light boil, I think that's when I'll turn the heat off. I have some olive oil in my cast iron. Turning that on. And then I have my bread over here. It's just a baguette. Actually, like a thicker slice of bread would work probably better than this, but this is considerably cheaper than buying like the type of bread I'd actually think would be better. So that's why we get this kind. It's just as tasty. It's just really a matter of how much bean you want to fit on your bread. It's so hard to do this with one hand. All right. Look how beautiful. Look how beautiful. So on Thursday night, we are finally cooking our marinated tofu. It was a 3-day process between freezing, thawing, and marinating, but we're finally here. So as you can see, I have my tofu chunks. I got some pretty good chunks, but there's also some crumbles, but I have them all marinated and I'm putting them in my cast iron skillet. Right now, this is just an oiled, cool cast iron skillet. It's gonna be going into the oven, but before going in the oven, I tossed some onion and tomatoes into the leftover marinade and added that to my skillet as well with some salt and pepper. And then this is what it looked like after coming out of the oven. It baked in the oven for 30 minutes at 425 degrees Fahrenheit, and then I put it on broil for 5 to 10 minutes on high, and then I decided to serve it up with some couscous. This is just plain original couscous. Didn't really do anything in terms of seasoning. And then this is what it looks like with the couscous and some spinach. And then I decided I wanted to serve it with some hummus as well. And then I had actually gone to Cava a couple days previous to this meal, and I had some leftover dressings from Cava, so I decided to add that as well. This is, I forgot what it's called, but it's like that green garlicky dressing. So I had just a little bit of that left, so added that. And then I had the harissa, the spicy harissa vinaigrette, whatever it's called. Added that as well. Started using it off sparingly because I couldn't quite remember how spicy it was. But then I went back and ended up adding the whole thing to my dish. And this is what it looked like. This was super satisfying. We'll definitely be making again. And now we are on to Friday. We finally made it to the weekend, and what better way to celebrate it being the weekend than with some pasta? So that's what we're doing. We're starting off by oiling our pan. I did a mixture of extra virgin olive oil and some basil infused olive oil, and then I couldn't tell you how much garlic this was, but does it really matter? Add garlic at your own discretion. But a fair amount of garlic, and I put that in the oil to simmer on low heat for, I don't remember, about as much time as until the pasta was done. And then I added some red chili flakes as well, and I had some angel hair that would cook up nice and quickly, so that's what I did. I just picked whatever pasta would cook up the quickest, and that was angel hair for me. I feel like even the most simple dishes still need a little bit of fresh produce, some veggie action, so I added tomatoes. This was like pretty much, I think, the only tomato I had left because I'd used all my tomatoes in Thursday night's dinner. I salt and peppered the tomatoes once I add them. That is the biggest tip in home cooking, just to season everything as you go so everything gets nice and flavorful. And once the tomatoes had been sitting on or simmering in the pan for a bit with the garlic, I started smushing them down to kind of get them like saucy and just get all the juices out, make it as flavorful as possible. I really like this method of smushing the tomatoes to get the juices out when I have fresh tomatoes in a pasta dish, but I don't necessarily want a tomato sauce per se. It just coats the pasta with some nice flavor, but you know, you still get the taste of everything else without it being overpowering. And then I didn't have fresh vegetables, but I had a bag of frozen broccoli in my freezer, so I steamed that up and I added half of that bag to my tomato garlic oil mixture and just got that mingling with that. Yes, that was very descriptive. That with that. I seasoned my broccoli with salt and pepper as well, because again, gotta season as you go. And when my pasta was done, I just drained it straight into the pan. This is a wonderful method for making pasta dishes because that starchy pasta water will help really form a nice sauce, even if you don't necessarily have a lot of like saucy ingredients like the oil or like a cream sauce or anything like that. And I just mixed that together until everything was well coated. And when it was all incorporated, I decided to add a few more seasonings and things to make it fun. The first of which being some nutritional yeast to add that cheesy texture, flavor. I mean, it also does a little bit of a texture thing too. Then I had some of this bread seasoning, dipping seasoning thing. It's just a bunch of like garlic and herbs that you can add in pastas, pizzas, or oil to dip bread in. So it was actually given to me with the basil infused olive oil. So as you can see, making good use of it. And then once that was all served, I added lemon as well. I don't know where the clip for that went. But I just served it into my pasta dish bowl thing. I got a lot of pasta on the first attempt and none of the veggies, but it doesn't really matter. It's all gonna get in the bowl eventually, and it's all gonna taste delicious. This is another comfort food for me. I used to make this a lot after I graduated college and I just started getting into cooking. My house, for some reason, always had tomatoes and broccoli, and we, of course, always had pasta, olive oil, and garlic. So this was just a really a go-to dish for me when I was back living at home after graduating and was like really starting to have some time to cook. So that was my dinner Friday night. It was super delicious. It's actually making me want pasta right now. And there you have it. That's what I ate this week for dinner, Monday through Friday. I would say this was a very typical week of me eating, you know, not cooking every dinner, but most of them, or at least half of them, during the work week. And yeah, a lot of like whole foods, not too many like vegan alternative meats or like stuff like that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much as always for watching. If you liked this video, please subscribe. Please give it a thumbs up. It would really support my channel and it means so much to me. I would also love if you'd comment, leave some feedback on just if you like this style of video, if maybe it was interesting to see the context of like the meals before and like while making them, or if you like the voiceovers more. But yeah, until next time, my friends.